Hey, what's up, traders? This is the watch list video for Wednesday, May 25th. You know what? It seems like they're starting to just snatch up the SPY anywhere under 390, just at least for the past week or so, right? So we'll see. Got a little bit of a bottoming tail again. Was not a very active day as far as stuff I could find. I did come back after lunch and did the old alert, hey, anybody watching anything for this afternoon? And two people immediately responded with the same idea, which is not uncommon, right? You guys in the chat room know. I believe it was Kevin M and Jared BI, and they both said BTTX over 175. So let's just glance at that. And I did that little "Are you still there?" alert, right? That woman's voice. I don't know why it cracks me up, but to get everybody's attention, right, and start saying, "Hey, let's work together." Crowdsource and see what we can look for the afternoon. So that's what we do around 2 o'clock every day. And again, both those guys put out the idea. This is probably, let's see what time this was. It's about here. Anyway, the idea was second mouse through 75, through 175, I should say. Shortly after you guys put out the idea, it goes all the way to 220 something, pulls back, and then rips again. So pretty cool heads up. I also gave an idea on DPSI today. I had it on Bounce Watch. And I gave kind of a Tokyo idea right when the next candle started. So probably around 625. It went to 647, but then right back down. I actually lost like $170 on that because it just didn't follow through. And I never looked back at it. So that one got me, but the BTTX I thought was a really cool afternoon idea. And again, by more than one person at the same time. So great teamwork in the chat room. What are we watching for tomorrow? Again, I keep saying this. The market feels weak. Yes, we're seeing the market, kind of getting snatched up a little bit, as I just pointed out. But you still want to be careful out there. There's a lot of choppiness. Almost every time you think the SPY is going to rip, the bottom would fall out, and vice versa. You think it's going to roll over, and then it would catch a bid. So it's just really choppy. So it's just going to eat you alive if you're over trading. I say you got to pay attention to what the market's doing, and slow your roll if you think you should need to be trading a bunch of stuff. It's got to be A+ only, and then when you see things not following through at all, there's nothing wrong with sitting on the sidelines. Nothing wrong with it at all. Especially if you're a day trader like me, I don't have this pressing need to be in something, right? I'll certainly attack something if it's setting up A+, but I also won't sit underwater in anything right now, right? Day traders, I always say, day traders are wrong a lot. The ones who last are the ones who recognize quickly that they're wrong and get out, right? There's a big difference there. All right, so anyway, Zoom ZM had earnings, gapped up, and look at the intraday here. Sold off, and then ends up taking out the high of day and then kind of flagging for the rest of the day. But when you go back and look at the daily, you've got a big volume spike, and it's kind of near maybe 1.5 week potential breakout to the upside. So certainly worth having on a chart. CBIO, big pop yesterday. Inside day today, looking for a third day play there. QUBT, nice volume for this stock. Closing well off the highs, but it did top at 225. We always look for whole number, quarter number, half number, inflection points. That may end up being one tomorrow. We'll see. AEMD had a nice 2-day run. Looked like it was selling off today, but closed pretty decent. So I'm going to put that back on watch for tomorrow. I believe that's considered a smallpox play, which the more you read about and the more you see people tweet about and the more you study it, it doesn't sound like something that's going to sweep over the world like the whole COVID thing, right? So maybe the market's figuring that out, or maybe we get some bad monkeypox news, and and then it runs. These things have a chance to give us a trade. Who knows? NURO, I'm not in love with this one, but I was looking for a bounce today and just gave it kind of a quiet inside day. So I'm just going to put it back on a chart. BGXX. Why do I like this one? Well, I liked it a lot coming into today. And I talked about it in last night's video, so I won't go into it in detail. But, it did have that really nice reversal yesterday, going out near the highs. Today stayed inside of yesterday's range. I thought it was interesting that it topped out at 14, and yesterday's high is just 25 cents above that. So you have another potential inflection point trader with a whole number and a quarter number. So I definitely want to keep that one on the chart after what it did yesterday. SIGA, speaking of monkeypox, I think I might have said smallpox earlier in the video. Some kind of pox, right? Anyway, this was the main, looked like the main monkeypox play, and then had a big rip, but then the gap up and 2 nasty red days. Again, maybe the market's figuring out monkeypox isn't going to be a big deal. Everything's fluid and anything can change and anything can happen. So I do like the fact that this was almost 15 bucks and now it's down in the 9s. Has good potential for a snapback, turn back up one of these days, but that's going to be very dependent on the news, right? But we'll have the news squawks going as we're trading. So EXPR, just another red day down below support, but I still think it's a decent setup for a snapback bounce for day traders like myself. I'm in cash every night, so I'll watch it for a setup. BLMN, I believe, is Outback Steakhouse, which is just getting that downside shape. I always look to the left and say, hey, bounced pretty nicely off this area back in late November, early December, and it's gotten there in a hurry. So a decent setup for a snapback bounce. GES, pretty much off a cliff here, getting near the March lows. So maybe we sell off early, take out 16, and then down below 16, I'd probably be looking for a candlestick reversal to the upside because I think it's overdone here to the downside. But the chart will tell us whether it is or not, right? Play, which I think is Dave and Buster's, is just straight down from 48 down to that interesting 30 level, right? That bounced off of early December, and it's gotten there in a hurry. So another decent potential for snapback bounce. And I can't believe I have Carnival Cruise Line, CCL on watch, but I do because you got a little bit of shape change here, nice volume, and you got a pan way out. But back in October of whatever year that was, 2020, this thing bottomed just above 12, I think. We've taken that out. Maybe go back. All right, and then this was the March of 2020. I mean, that was the worst. You'd think the worst it would get for cruise lines, right? And that got down to what, near $5. So I don't know. It's certainly ahead of itself to the downside. It's really not at any great support. But if the overall market or anything travel related gets a bounce, this one and probably RCL too. But I'm just going to have I'm just going to have CCL on watch. Possible snapback bounces there. All right, I've already babbled long enough. I'll see you guys in the chat room in the morning.